we're gathering together. We've got a little bit more freedom than we've had in terms of COVID restrictions, and so we just from this point on until we hear more, we'll just encourage everybody to do what feels most comfortable to them, and to be really courteous towards everybody else. If you just be mindful of how the people are around you. So, and we tend to keep some social distancing unless you know each other in other ways. I'm not sure that came out right. So, I think many of you will know that we have some extra folks here today who are taking part in the module program at the university, the graduate program in theology, and Mark Schelske is here from Portland, Oregon. Here's Mark. And Mark's a pastor in Portland, and he's going to lead us in worship today, and Rick and Teena are going to help. So we're going to have a few songs before prayers and a talk, and then we're going to have a little bit of music afterwards as well. So Lord, be with us. Let everything we do here today bring honor to you. Let there be a sense of encouragement for each other. And we ask that, if there are things that we're struggling with, that are sort of just the things that you can't get out of your mind, I'd like to ask that there be a quiet space here, and a movement of healing. Thanks. Thanks so much. Oh. Apparently we're allowed to sing too. Apparently we're allowed to sing.
Oh man, I'm Mark. Hi, from Portland, Oregon, as Pete said. Before I get all worship leadery, I'm just gonna express my gratitude because we've been all going through this thing for a while now that has made what we do when we gather different and in some cases difficult. And my little church has been almost entirely online since the beginning of the pandemic, with the exception of a few weeks in the summer when it was nice enough to meet outside. And you all know music sucks online. It doesn't work well. And music's been a big part of our worship forever. And so I have not sung with people in their human presence, with the exception of like 6 weeks when we were outside. I haven't done that in 2 years. And I have not played with other human musicians at the same time where we were in the same time space as one another. Aren't you?
Aren't you assuming quite a bit about Rick and Teena?
We're in the same division.
It's true. In my perception, we are in the same space-time, geographical and spiritual location, and that pleases my perception to no end. So while I deeply hope that the few minutes we spend together will be meaningful to your hearts, if it's not, it is already an incredible joy to me. So, all right. I don't know where you are at this week. I mean, I know you're here, but I mean at. You know what I mean? Metaphysically, spiritually, emotionally at. I don't know where you're at. And yet part of our practice as Christians is to come together, bringing who we are and where we're at into the same space. And trusting that the Spirit that is in me and is in you and is here will bind us together in an experience of God's work of renewal and connection. And so that's a weird thing to lead in, because I grew up in a community, and maybe you've had this kind of experience, where this part of what we do, corporate singing worship, often had the tone of a pep rally, where it sort of was meant to lift everyone together in a positive and hopeful direction. And I don't know if you've looked outside at the world around us lately. You've seen the meme, the little cartoon, the dog sitting in the pub, surrounded by flames. And he's saying, this is fine. Right? You've seen that?
No.
Okay, it sort of feels like that to me in the world, right? The last 2 years, right? Pandemic, upheaving our way of life, many losses, you know, whether they're big losses like loss of life and loss of business, or smaller losses like my daughter had no 8th grade graduation because the school didn't know how to do that the first time around, losses. And then on top of that, things like the January 6th events in my country or the Ottawa events in yours, and all of the ways that that has impacted our relationships with people that we care about, and the way that we even see each other and how we're able to see each other. And then, you know, Ukraine, and it feels like the world's on fire. And then we come to this moment, and the expectation is, let's sing some happy songs. You know, and there's something good about singing songs of worship and praise together. There's something that's in line with the spiritual discipline of David's work of speaking to his own soul, saying, "Oh, my soul, I will bless the Lord," even though everything sort of looks like it's on fire. But that's hard. So we're going to do 3 songs. We're going to do them back to back. I'm not going to talk in between. I'm doing all that now. Because I want the songs to create a space. I want you to sit in them. All the songs today take place on the water. In the Genesis creation story, we get this picture of the creative spirit of God bringing order out of the chaos of the water. In the gospel story, we see the disciples in a boat with Jesus heading across the boat to do important stuff. They've got a plan, they've got places they need to go, they have things they need to do, it matters, it's really important. And they're crossing over the boat in the night, and a storm comes up, and the disciples feels to them, their perceptual reality is that they're going to die, that this storm is a threat to their life. And Jesus is in the boat with them. Jesus is with them. But their perceptual experience is that he's not attentive to them. And so we have this tension of our call, our invitation to speak in faith and to speak out hope, and the lived experience of being in the boat. And we think, we believe, we think that Jesus is with us, but doesn't feel like Jesus is doing anything about the waves. So I want you to hold that and locate yourself wherever you are in that picture. Maybe you are here today with hope and encouragement and enthusiasm, right? Getting to be together, getting to sit closer, getting to sing. This is worth celebrating. And maybe that's the thing that's present for you. Or maybe you're in a room feeling present to the losses and the uncertainty and what will happen at the next election or the next week in Ukraine, or, you know. And maybe even more awkwardly, in this room, some of us are in different places, and it's weird to sit next to people who are singing hopeful words when you don't feel hopeful. And so I invite you to be present to the space that you're in. And trust, if you're able, or imagine, if you're not yet able, that in that place of uncertainty, we're not alone. In my wrestling and in my doubt, in my failures won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. All right, let's sing that verse again. In my wrestling, in my doubt, in my failure, don't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. All right, so that last little part, that's not just a vocal flourish, right? That is us experiencing the waves, right? You know the waves, right? Sometimes you feel up on the top and sometimes you aren't. So that part may be the most important part of the song, okay? So we're just gonna try that. And if you're uncertain about singing out on the top of your lungs, it's fine, because none of us are. We haven't done this in a long time, okay? So here we go. Whoa. Safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace. Oh, oh, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storm. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore.
great unknown, where feet may fail. There I'll find you in the mystery, and oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I will call upon your name, keep my eyes above the waves. And oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, you are mine. Grace abounds in deepest water, the sovereign hand will be my guide. The feeling of heaven free surrounds me, the never fail, and the walks are now. And I will call upon your name, keep my eyes above the waves. The oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. And I am yours, you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. I will call upon your name, keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, you are mine. I am yours, you are mine. Jesus, when you gonna wake up? When you gonna wake up and calm this raging sea? Jesus, when you gonna gonna wake up? How can you sleep when we're in need? Sing that with me. Jesus, when you gonna wake up? When you gonna wake up and calm this raging sea? Jesus, when you gonna wake up? When you gonna wake up? How can you sleep when we're in need? Lord, just one word from the Maker, and all the ways will be made still. Just one touch from the Healer, and all will be made well. Jesus, when you gonna wake up? When you gonna wake up and calm this raging sea? Jesus, when you gonna wake up? When you gonna wake up? How can you sleep when we're in need? Just one word from the Maker, and all the ways will be made still. Just one touch from the Healer, and all will be made well. Just one word from the Maker, and all the waves can be made still. Just one touch from the Healer, and all will be made well. Jesus, when you gonna wake up? When you gonna wake up and calm this raging sea? Jesus, when you gonna wake up? When you gonna wake up? How can you sleep when we're in need? Won't you rise up? Won't you rise up? Won't you rise up? Won't you rise up? Won't you rise? Oh, rise up. Won't you rise up? 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 Keep my eyes above the waves. Won't you rise up? My soul will rest in your embrace. Won't you rise up? I am yours. You are mine. Won't you rise up? I am yours. You are mine. Won't you rise up?
Are we allowed to clap in 2 years?
Thanks so much. That was wonderful. No clapping though. I love the "Won't you rise up" part, and I just kept thinking about every friend that was ill, or Ukraine, or other situations I knew in the world. I just kept thinking, Lord, won't you rise up here? Won't you rise up here? Won't you rise up here? So Jess has a poem about that really connects with the water theme. It's called "Small Boat."
I didn't plan to read this, except every time Brad's in town, I think I do. Yeah, thanks, Mark. You're right here. Thank you. Because I particularly loved the Jesus when you can wake up. Yeah. So this is I'm in a small boat on a raging sea. It's called. I'm in a small boat on a raging sea, and it is hard to believe in Jesus. I've never seen him, you know. I have this Sunday school picture that is stuck in my head, and I'm sure it's not what he looks like. And was he really born of a virgin? Was God a baby? Was he crucified? Is he coming back? This is our faith. Jesus, he did these things. He turned water to wine. He healed the sick and raised the dead, but none of us were there. I didn't see it. I'm in a small boat on a raging sea. The waves are big and full of all things, the brokenness of this world. Girls made into product, stolen and sold, boys sent to war, corruption, greed, violence, abuse, addiction, poverty, politics, pain, religion, racism, rape, starvation, slavery, sickness, shootings, all around us. I'm in a small boat on a raging sea. The kingdom is now not yet elusive and hard to grasp. I see it, and I don't see it. It's but a poor reflection. I'm in a small boat on a raging sea, and listen, this boat is made from the trees of my youth, my home, which is both comforting and haunting all at once. My foundation is weathered wood, and it holds my story, where I've been. This wood matters. There are many weak places beneath me, and they make sense of this fear in my heart. I'm in a small boat on a raging sea. So, if Jesus were in this boat with me, the man, Jesus? I confess, even then, I am sure I would still freak out. Look at that sea. Jesus is just a man, and we all know that some men abandon the ship. The waves are crashing, and it's obvious that we are at risk of dying any second. So my question is this: does he not care that we are perishing? Am I loved as I ask it? Because for some reason, the only thing that has ever helped this doubt in me is saying it. I have to speak it out. I believe and I disbelieve. So if you ask me to only believe, I will not make it. But if you can listen to my fear, if I can hand it to you, I will find that inner place of rest, my own sleeping Jesus. And I will see that he in this boat with me will be enough. But I will only find my yes after all these no's have been spoken, making room in my lungs to breathe in hope. This doubt leads the way to faith, slowly pulls me close enough to understand that if Jesus didn't care about this raging sea we're in, he wouldn't be here with us, but he is. He is Emmanuel. He is God with us. And I will know it as I doubt it. I am in a small boat on a raging sea.
No clapping. So it's just perfect, the way that connects with when you're going to wake up. Wow. So Pete just told me about a lady over in the housing area where you live died this week, right?
Yes, she did.
What's her name?
Carla Robertson.
Carla Robertson. And so there must be people that would love some support in this time. What about other things? Are there other things we should be holding up? Yeah.
There's a woman at my home church in Mississauga who has been struggling with cancer for a while, and they just found more.
Mm.
So I've just been thinking about her and her family a lot. Her
Yeah.
name's Lisa.
Yeah, and I know a family like this as well. Yeah. So, and then we have this world situation. So let's just enter prayer for a minute. Abba, you know our hearts, our fears, our struggles. We're the dog in the bar with the fire raging around. We're in the small boat on a raging sea. It's amazing how these images touch us in a time like this. We ask for our friends around the world, the ones that we know that need a touch of help or healing. We ask for our family members. We ask for ourselves. We ask in situations that seem violent, dominating, oppressive, aggressive. We ask for the restraining of evil. We ask for protection, for healing, for so many. We grieve for every loss. We enter the pain of the world. We can't really get away from it. And we're asking for things that seem so wrong to us to come to a conclusion, and that somehow is a platform for something better. I've been praying each week for the last few weeks for the Russian soldiers in Ukraine. My heart breaks for Ukrainian victims and Russian victims as well. For the young men conscripted, having no real sense of what they're doing. At least this is my perception. And morale low, why would it not be? And I ask for whatever appropriate measure can stop this outrage. And I pray for You know, I pray, I love the spirit of nonviolence, and I love the spirit of peace, and I love the spirit of love and of honoring brokenness in a way that brings healing, rather than, you know, just throwing malice and hate at things. I don't want to do that. Love you, Lord. Love you being with us in the midst of all of our questions. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. Praise him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Just thought I'd do that because we could. First time in a while. We used to, just celebrate the harmonies in